dear friend.
You too. You too. How have
Oh
you
my
been?
God, I'm well. It's good to see you. Look well.
Thank you.
You look awesomely well, by the way. I don't think COVID-19 has nothing on you, Sean.
No, 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 no. I think co- COVID
So
did.
it didn't, right? It
No.
doesn't do anything with you. So good to have you. Welcome. Well, please go ahead, Sean White. Introduce your lovely self to our audience.
So I'm Sean. I'm 35 from North Carolina. Actually, which is crazy because we've never met in person. We do talk a lot and stuff, but we live like an hour away from each other.
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome to know that. You have, Sean, you have a very unusual and truly unique combination of life. That is, you're a diver, you
hmm
are a travel enthusiast, and you are into realtor. So you are a realtor, I want to believe, right? You are. You're
Yes,
a
yes,
realtor.
ma'am, I am.
Yeah. So could you just kindly, kind of tell us how you do all the things that you do uniquely. First of all, let's start with you being a realtor before we get into the other part of life.
All right. So been in real estate for actually 2 years now. It was just my 2 year anniversary in real estate. Uh, thank you, thank you. So I came from the car business. I've been in sales now for over 10 years. And of course, most people know when you're in the sales business, especially car business, you have no life, right? So I started find real estate pretty interesting, especially the freedom of life to get in there and be able to do kind of what you want and work on your schedule, make your own hours. So started looking into it and decided to make the jump from the car business into real estate and never looked back.
Well done. I remember one time, I think a couple of years, 3, 4, 5 years ago, we were talking about you thinking of coming into the travel business, weren't you, at some
Yep,
point?
yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
just
you
wanted
ditched
some.
me. You ditched me.
I did, I did. It was just I wanted something to where was so I'm with Keller Williams. Keller Williams teaches life by design, which is one thing that really attracted me to there, is because they teach you God, family, then your business, and so that was very important to me, especially being able to do the things that I enjoy and want to do.
Excellent. So you're very happy there. Sounds like it, because you
I
every
am. I
time I
am.
speak to you, you're on the road. On the road.
This is
I
true. This is true.
well, you know what? With all of that being said, I can really not imagine you ever going away from travel because I don't see you not staying in travel.
No,
Right?
travel is a very, very big thing for me. Something that's always been very important. And it started out as a once a year thing to then I wanted to take even, small trips. I know when I was a kid, I never respected, going to grandma's and going to the beach and stuff like that. Now I look forward to, being able to go to even those small trips that are only 2 days. Those are definitely important as well, just as much as the big trips.
I agree. I totally do. I mean, it's I think for for me, travel is a period of rejuvenation. Being
Yep.
able to rejuvenate and just get back again into lifestyles. But it's always good or always pleasant to have that time where you can step away from everything and just reinvent yourself and then come back in. And that's what, it's not more of an escape, but
Uh
it's
huh.
more of, just having that time, that moment where you are able to breathe. That's what travel is, I believe. And I think it's something similar for you.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially to get away for those long weeks, especially to the islands. That is something that really I think is good for especially your soul. But it's good just to get away from the everyday hustle and bustle that we go through, and just be able to let loose or be free and go in and experience uh, different cultures and really see how, stuff is around the world. I
I
really think
totally agree.
it helps out.
I totally agree. And I was going to ask you, well, why not tell us about your world as a diver? When did you first start diving?
It's been maybe 3 years. Yeah, I think about 3 years I've been diving. Is when I first got my certification. So of course, there's dive spots around here in North Carolina. So a lot of times, I know you look at my stories and stuff. If I'm not traveling or out for the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
then all summer I'm either at the beach or at the quarry diving. Been working on getting to master diver. I
Mm-hmm.
have been able to do a few dives outside of the country and stuff, and it's completely different. And there's something about being able to drop down 30, 40 feet down to the bottom and just to sit on or to be on your knees and just look up and look around and see a completely different world. And which is crazy because people say they can't do it because they're claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic, but it's just something about being down there and being able to look around and seeing a whole new world. It's something you can't explain. You can't even describe. It's just a feeling that I've never felt before, and
Could
I
you
really enjoy
try?
it.
Could you at least try to describe it? I mean, like, first of all, I'm not a diver. I'm not a water person as much as I
Yeah.
love water. But give us a glimpse into that, just so we have an idea of what it is you feel when you're down 30 feet down. Just an idea.
Well, so the first couple of times I'm real nervous going down, right? It's just, part of it. And so I always just drop down to the sand bed so that way I can kind of, take a couple of deep breaths and see. But when you look up and you see, fishes swimming, you feel like you're in a big aquarium. And you look up, you can see the waves over top of your head crashing, the fish swimming around and stuff. And I mean, I guess, the closest thing I could describe it to, you feel like you're a kid in like a huge toy store or something, a candy shop or something like that.
Really?
It's just something, and you're just in shock and awe the whole time you're down there.
Really? I mean,
Yeah,
like yesterday, funny enough, we're talking about diving. Yesterday, I was telling a friend of mine because I'm trying to organize. I was telling you today as well about a Turks and Caicos trip for my
yeah.
birthday next year. And I'm trying to get some groups of friends and everybody to come with me. And this friend asked me, I said, you know what, we're going to go snorkeling. And she was like, oh my God, what about if a fish bites us or something? So, talking about that, Sean, what about if a fish bites us? What do we do? I mean, is it going to happen? Is it something that can happen? Tell me.
It's not something too much to worry about. Of course, you always have precautions of certain things. So depending on where you're at, barracuda, is always something you kind of want to stay away from. Just because they can be. You don't want to wear shiny things around them. But for the most part, never encountered anything like that. Actually, in Turks and Caicos was the first time I ever encountered a shark. So it's the first time I've ever seen that. Um,
What did
and
you do? Did it come to you? Did it try to?
it did. Well, it scared away the barracuda that was tracking me. But it was
So
funny.
it said away one, but one was coming.
Yeah, it was just I think it was just a reef shark, but it was cool to see. It was I was real nervous because it's the first one I've ever been that close to, but at the same time, everybody's in the boat. Actually, my parents were there on that trip. They're all joking around, screaming shark, because we were snorkeling.
I know your mom is here now. Hi,
Yes, she is. She
Kimberly.
is. So they're joking around about shark, but what they don't realize is there really was a shark in the water.
So you had the barracuda and you had the shark,
Yeah,
and
that's
the shark drove away the barracuda,
yeah.
and
That's when I
then
learned you don't wear shiny things because I had my watch on
oh,
and it was following my watch.
oh my goodness. I don't want to ask you what would have happened afterwards because heaven knows I don't know how comfortable I will feel hearing that story. But thanks for sharing that with us. I mean I hope I can ever do that one day. I don't know. I don't
Uh,
know. I don't know.
Turks and Caicos is definitely on the list to go back and dive. They have an amazing crew there, especially at Club Med.
Mm-hmm.
Club Med has their own dive site there, or diver shop there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they actually take you out pretty far. Most of their dives are about 70 foot deep, and it's probably, even the snorkeling when we were there was just amazing. And so I know that the diving is only 10 times better.
Right. Because I know we organized that for you. I organized that for you. I think, was it 2017? Was the last time you went to Turks? The whole
No,
family.
no, remember it got the hurricane came through,
Ah, the
so yeah, we
hurricane
had to cancel.
canceled it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we couldn't do that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I have another question. There is a research that proves that adventure sports can impact your mental well-being. How true do you think that that is, just from your personal experience?
Um, I think it can impact. So we stay in front of our TV, cell phone, especially being in real estate, which, you ask my mom and my dad, my cell phone's always been attached to me anyway. But, as this generation, we're always in front of that and stuff like that. So,
Right.
when you're spending, a couple hours underwater, you don't have that, right? So you kind of disconnect from that. You kind of disconnect from the social media, the uh, phone constantly ringing, or you constantly wanting to check things and stuff like that. So that disconnect from it, and then also from everything else that's going on, you're not really worried about anything under the water. When I'm down there, I'm not thinking about anything that's going on in my life, or anything about work or anything like that. I'm focused on, you know, uh, my buoyancy, or, the fish and the surroundings, and trying to explore new things. So that's always at your mind, and not about what's going on with everything else. So it kind of gives you that mental break
Right.
from life.
I would agree with that. That's how I feel about vacation in general. And I'm leaning more towards like total wellness, mindfulness vacations, trying to organize those, because that, if people are not divers like me and not water people like me, at least they can maybe do like a digital meditation retreat
Uh-huh.
where they don't have to, where, you let go of every electronic device, and it's
Yeah.
just you, the group, and nature. So like, if you can't go diving and come back out, at least you can leave your phone maybe for a couple of days. I hope I can do that, Sean. I don't know. I really
I
don't.
mean, couple of days is hard, but a couple of hours is doable.
No, not when you go on those retreats. You can't do a couple of hours because you have to give up the phone. And not even only that alone, you
Mm,
you actually don't have internet. So
that's rough. That's rough.
I know. I've been thinking about it too. I don't know what's going to happen to me if I ever think in that direction. But I'm hoping that post COVID-19, I can do that. And I'm thinking of going off to Asia, to South Asia, maybe. You know,
Okay.
yeah, to just go do that. I think I don't see myself doing like a whole 7 days. I think what I will do is do like maybe a 3 days retreat, because I think it probably end up being more like mental torture if I don't have my phone.
So actually, do the full 7 days, right?
Hmm.
The reason why is because the first three, it is torture, but
Uh-huh.
after that, so when we were in Antigua, when we were on the boat, now I still had internet and stuff, because of T-Mobile. I was the only one that still, out of all of us, everybody else had Verizon. So I was able to still connect the internet, but I tried to put the phone up as much as possible. But for the first 3 days, it kind of was like, oh yeah, I can't do this. But then after that, I mean, I didn't pick up the phone anymore or anything like that. I didn't uh, check in emails. I wasn't trying to send to clients and stuff like that. I just kind of let it all go.
I don't know. I know CJ, my child, my first child, they're on here too with us. They tried it for 30 days without being on social media.
Yeah.
Sean, I can't. I don't know if I can. I mean, if I have the phone and I have the internet, it's going to take a lot of battalion of soldiers to just take the phone off me, because I will look at the phone. I will
Yeah.
post something. I will say something. I will look, So 30 days, how CJ did it. Oh, please don't ask me. I have no clue.
Hey, I mean, that's the big props. It's tough
It,
to do it. We're definitely programmed to stay connected.
I know. With or without phones, I think we are. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We're programmed to stay connected. No man is an island. We have to connect one way or the other. But it's also a beautiful thing, I must tell you, to be able to stay away too.
Yeah.
So well, thanks for sharing that. Well, what's your favorite? I know you probably mentioned it, but maybe if you could just highlight it a little bit more for us. What's your favorite part about diving?
Um, just being down there and being down there and exploring, but also the disconnect from everything. Like I said, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not thinking about what's going on, at top. I'm not thinking about what's going on at home or anything like that. You're truly like just mind is cleared and taking in, everything that's around you. We can say like if we go somewhere, uh, we'll sit there and look at that stuff and, we'll take in the surroundings. But truth is, you got your phone out, you're taking photos and you're still getting your notifications and all that stuff. Well, 50, 60 feet down, you don't have your phone. You don't have notifications coming through. You don't have any of that stuff. So you're truly, disconnected from all that. And because of everything that's going around all the life that's down there, you're more concerned about that and what's in front of you than any other thing. And I think, when you come back, you have that, sense of peace because you've kind of let go of a lot of things.
Mm, wow. So, what's the longest you've ever been like still underwater?
So, I think like 45, 50, close to 45 minutes to an hour,
Really?
which is actually not long. So these rebreathers, you can stay underwater for, 4 hours.
Okay. Well, you do have all the gear, don't you? So.
Yeah, so I have on my own dive gear and stuff, but it's the tank that I have. It gives me about 45 minutes to an hour down there. And a lot of it deals with, how deep you are too. So the deeper you dive, the shorter your dive time is. So plus your best dives are always around that 30 to 40 feet because sunlight starts to not penetrate through as much.
Right.
So the life is not there as far as like the coral. And then, of course, all the fish are around the coral reef and stuff like that. So your average, dive for a coral reef is, 25 to 40 feet. But then it's when you get into exploring like shipwrecks and stuff like that. Now those will get it down into 70 to 200 feet, and then you're diving different types of gases, which now I have those certifications. I'm able to do that. There's a dive I want to do off our coast. It's called Fossils Ledge. And what it is you actually dive down there. It's about 125 feet down,
Mm-hmm.
and you dive
Wow.
down for megalodon teeth. Uh,
My goodness.
so, and they're like huge shark teeth. Yeah. So
That,
that's the next year trip.
that's going to be a trip.
Yeah.
125 feet down. That is too much. I can't even think about that. But let's see. If I asked you to picture your ideal vacation right now, what would it look like?
Man, ideal vacation right now would just be anywhere.
Really? It's just
Yeah.
really, I totally agree. It's like, just take me anywhere. anywhere, even
Yeah.
a picnic. A picnic
Yeah. Just anywhere to get away, because we've been restricted with travel so much. But I couldn't tell you where the perfect place would be. I mean, there's a couple of places I definitely want to go, but just right now, I think anywhere just to kind of get away from everything that's going on and with the world and social media, and just get away from work for about a week would be great. So
Yeah, but
I'm
we don't
always
see you. We don't see you doing that anytime soon. Not with your
no,
busy schedule.
not with everything
No
going
way.
on.
Not with all that you've told me today. I'm even still trying to negotiate with you to get you out on my birthday next year, and you
Yep.
already gave me a whole year's calendar. I was like, Sean, please.
So that's one thing that we do is a lot of goal planning, a lot of goal setting, and career envisioning. And so I know I shared with you, we just opened up Myrtle Beach Market Center, so headed down there to open up Myrtle Beach. I was trying to take a mini vacation, either by the end of this month. I actually had to cancel my 1 week vacation because we have so much going on. And so then we're roundabout where your birthday is we're opening up another market center. So
I am hoping that something, the universe opens up for me, that you probably do it earlier or do it later, because it will be such a privilege, because I know, Kimberly, your mom is going to want to come, and I'm sure she would love to want to see you there, just like I would love to want to meet your entire family, say the same time. So I'm keeping all fingers crossed that either it happens before or happens later.
Yeah.
So at least we get to officially meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope
it would definitely be great, especially to get back to ClubMed since they remodeled. So I will say, Turks and Caicos ClubMed was probably, as far as entertainment wise and as much fun, it's probably one of the best resorts I've ever been to. The most fun I've had been on a vacation since I've been there. Now, of course, I know they remodeled, a lot of things have changed,
Yes.
so hopefully the environment is still the same, and the people that are working there. And actually, I think I met more people at that place because of the way they had everything set up.
Right.
Because they made it to where I remember our first night there, we sat down and it was a big table, and then all of a sudden people were like sitting down with us, and we're like, what?
Yeah,
We weren't used to
you
that.
had the GOs
Yeah.
and then guests mixing up
Yeah,
food.
guests sitting down. They made it to where you had to, interact with all the other guests, and we weren't used to that, especially with the whole family there. We were like, wait a minute. But then, as you started meeting people and you started talking to, there's people that we still talk to today and keep up with and try to plan vacations with, all from that trip. And I haven't had that on too many vacations, but there's 8 people that I still talk to today from that trip that you booked for us. When I don't know how long ago that was.
Oh my God,
It's been a long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
long enough not to count days, but yes. Well, I have just one final question for you. Now I must ask that very special question, and I'm curious about it myself. What is your favorite thing about traveling with Thia's Travel Services? And where is the next place you would like to book your vacation with me?
So probably the Turks and Caicos trip. I don't know if it's going to be your birthday, but
Yes.
definitely. So I'm definitely dying because it is for the dive, either there or Mexico is really great for diving too. And Cancun, and they've got some really amazing dive sites. But one thing I do love is that you've been trying to plan this, and me sitting down with you for a while now, and always I'm sorry, it's been busy. So one thing that I love is that I do, even when I was in the car business and always on the move, I'm able to call you and, you know, say, hey, Cynthia, these are the places I'm looking at going. Can you look up, see which way I should be going? And I would give you 5, 6 different options, and you'd be like, all right, I'll call you later. And you would. I'd either hear from you that night or the next day, and you would say, all right, this is your best deal. This is your the best way to travel. And you just made everything, you know, so much easier. Then, believe me, Mom will be over there. So, Mom, just cover your ears.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll sit there and say something about taking a vacation. She'll start researching it and do all the research for me. So then I can just be like, oh, what do you think? And then she'll give me all the info on the place. But, you know, I got the same, you know, thing from you. I can sit there and say, hey, you know, this is where I want to go. And I didn't have to worry about, you know, researching everything, going through it, finding out, you know, what plane's going where, how much this is going to be. You say, hey, this is what it is. And it's either a yes or no. And all right, book it.
Yeah, thank you. I am so privileged and humbled that you have so much warm and kind things to talk about me. I'm glad, and I can't wait. You owe me. You really do owe me,
I
Sean.
do.
You owe me next year. You owe me that. I don't know what you're going to do, but you do owe me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was it from us. And Sean, I thank you so much. Kimberly, thank you for coming. CJ, I mean, everyone that came on today. Thank you so much. And Sean, you keep going. Well done. And
Thank you.
have a great day. Thank
I
you.
will. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You made it. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
It's you know, I have lost track of days and time and everything. So I'm just here when I'm here.
I truly understand that. I feel the same thing. I'm here when I'm here, and I'm just taking it day by day. That's all we can do right now.
So you're doing well. You look well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, being married is awesome, isn't it?
Being married is great. I'm recently married, February 28th, and during COVID. So I'm not sure if that's a great time to remember our anniversary. We got married during the COVID year, but I could take it as a blessing during a cursed time a little bit. So
I totally agree. You know, like
yeah.
You know, marriage is a beautiful thing. Enjoy every beat of it. And you know, first of all, we're just going to take a moment of silence for your mom.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy. I know that, and I acknowledge it because I have been through that path. It's not funny. But I hope that, you know, everyone that is in your life now, you would know that they're there for a purpose and a time such as this, and just such a beautiful timing that you were able to get married just before she passed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So you have a support system right there.
We do. You know, all things work together, I believe, for the good, you know, good and bad. She was able to meet her beforehand, obviously, and, you know, being elderly, you kind of stay away from everyone too because of COVID. So I couldn't even see my mother that much myself, but the times that we did, we cherished, and I have nothing but beautiful memories. Nothing but beautiful memories.
I am so glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that. And I know you said the funeral is this weekend. Is that right?
Yes, Friday. It's on Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
making arrangements for that. So I think that whatever we go through in life, I think that you still have to put your firm foot down and continue to press forward and stay busy. It's not that you forget, but you continue to stay busy because you have to survive, you have to live, you have to have that center gravity of peace and, you know, happiness and all kind of different things you have to find. And so, like you said, my wife, my sister, my brother stays in Tucson, so I got a very good support system. So
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, even when the funeral comes, I trust that you will stay where you are. You're a strong man. You're a warrior, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you are a warrior, and you are just going to roll this. You're gonna roll this. You're gonna roll it, and
Yeah.
you will end up in a good and beautiful place. Okay.
No, well, thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
let's talk about something you and I endlessly agree about for a little
Okay.
bit, and that
Sure.
is, tell us first of all, tell us about yourself. You want to introduce yourself to the audience. Who is
Uh,
Karl Sebring?
uh, yeah, who was that? I am Karl Cyprian, for those getting to know me. Recently married. I work for ClubMed. Uh, I've been there for a few years. I work in ClubMed Resorts and sales and reservations. It's something new to me. Prior to ClubMed, I've been like about 18 years of corporate America, for Fortune 500 companies. I had been in sales. I had traveled across the states and everything. I wanted to travel myself, and for some reason, Club Med came to call me, and I answered that call. And so it was something totally different for me. It took me out of my norm and said, okay, you know what, Carl, you all of a sudden you wanted to travel. Why not work for Club Med? So I have a wonderful wife. I have a teenager, a 13-year-old daughter. She's my pride and joy. Uh, I love laughing. I love horseback riding. Let me see here. I love having fun. I love fitness. I'm a family man. And I love meeting new people. And those are some of the things that I do. If you want a strength of mine, I'm a connector. I love connecting people together.
I know that. I know that.
and yeah, and so when and one of my weaknesses, I kind of discussed ice cream the other day. Briar's,
Yeah,
Briar,
tell us a bit about that. Come on now.
well, Briar's ice cream, for some reason, if I pass by that refrigerator section and I see Briar's Oreos, it's just like that's in my basket. But it don't let me pass the sweet potato pie. But put like a little scoop of that on there. That is a weakness, a weakness for me.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
uh,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Well, you see, that's the thing. You see, the beauty about or the irony of having the sweet tooth and still working out. Just like, that's a typical me too. I'm chocoholic, you know, you know,
Okay.
dark chocolate, but I do not ever miss to work out. I mean,
Yes.
it's like I need both, and I do both. So I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying, because you love to work out and you
Yeah.
have to have your ice cream. So
I have to have it. I
yeah.
don't care if it's cold, 3 degrees below zero. I'm gonna get some of that Breyer's ice cream out. So yeah, I'm an ice cream man.
Awesome.
So
That is ever so. I mean, look at you, a strong man, and it's easily swept away by ice cream. Just look at that. How do I qualify that? That's what I'm thinking to myself. How does this man want me to qualify the fact that he loves ice cream?
I know, right? I tell you, well, I put it on. I mean, I think just the other night I was just saying when I let you know that I did like the ice cream, I'll go to the refrigerator. I'll fill up a cup. I'll go watch a little TV. Right? I'm like, okay, Carl, I have to tell myself, psych myself out. I'm not gonna get another cup. I'm gonna only get one cup. I'm back in the refrigerator again in the freezer, filling up the next scoop. Next thing, I said, no more ice cream. But after I finish my interview, I'm going shopping and I'm getting more Breyers.
You
So,
you 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 just don't. You wouldn't even hide it. You wouldn't hide it.
yeah, yeah.
And how does your wife feel about that? The ice cream man.
She's okay with it, as long as I let her have her snacks and don't bug her about it. See, that's,
And it's
it's
a
a part of
win-win.
compromise.
It's a
Yes.
win-win, right? It's a win-win.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, it's so good to have you on here. I mean, just letting our audience know, Karl and I we've gone back almost 5 years
Yeah,
since
pretty
I've
close.
since I've been a Club Med. What is it I am with Club Med? a preferred partner with ClubMed.
Yes.
So yeah, so we've gone way back, and you're ever there for me, making sure I'm straight, making sure I'm not pulling my hair. So it's such a beauty to just have you up here. And I just have a few questions for you about your lifestyle, about travel, especially because that's something that brought us together.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, what made you want to learn, what first of all, what is the big interest for you about traveling?
Hmm. Such a loaded question. Um, I let me just start back. As a little kid, just real quick, we would always, and from Tucson, Arizona. I remember my father. We took road trips as a family. We drove all the way across the states through Texas, New Mexico, into Louisiana. And so those trips out every year, going back to the farm, I'm like, I got to see a lot of open lands and pass by the waters, come from the desert and go into where it's green now. You're going to further east. And I would then start to see horses and cattle and different things. I'm like, okay, after so many years of doing that, I'm like, as I get older, there's more out there to see. So I've been across the country, different places, Florida and different things to that nature. But when I came to Club Med, I'm like, you know what? Now is the time because you're not promised tomorrow. And so I've always wanted to see places that my father had went to. He was in the military. He
Okay.
fought in the Korean War. He fought in Vietnam. So he was in both wars. He went to Africa, Asia, all these different places, Japan. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I could do that too. How come And so that piqued my interest. Like I said, it was a big change from what I had been doing to getting into travel, and
Right.
it wasn't easy. It's a challenging business, but you get out of it what you put into it.
Right.
And then of course, if you come to any Club Med resorts, you're gonna just love it.
I
So
know. I know. I'm addicted. I am actually addicted to Club Med. It's just I mean, I love the Club Med. I love the Club Med. The Club Med style.
yes,
There's something about the Club Med style with all my travels that I've never ever experienced anywhere else. So when I talk about travel, Club Med is always like one of the first three, when it comes to accommodation. So like travel for me is experiencing the locals, but Club Med makes it much more easier for you because you get to actually interact with the locals in the resorts because they
yeah,
work there. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? You tend to do
yeah,
that. And so I mean, travel is, something I believe everyone, should have a bucket list about and experience at least once a year. It doesn't matter. You don't really have to go all the way to a different continent or to another country. You can experience
mhm,
travel where you are. Like you growing up, Arizona, Tucson, things like that, California. Those are
yeah,
places that I'm sure a lot of us don't know anything about. One of the
right.
places I really want to go to myself in the US, I think I've been able to make almost 30 something states so far in the US since I've been
Wow,
here.
that's
Yes.
impressive.
Thank
That's
you. I'm a
impressive.
traveler. I
Yes.
keep going across water. So like Colorado is a place I want to go to. I don't
Yes.
know when, but I want to go there. So
What,
just
what what part of Colorado? Which place in Colorado? Denver, Colorado Springs, or
Springs,
Mountain?
Colorado Springs. Yes,
Okay.
that's the one. But I think for me, Denver is the capital, correct?
Hmm,
Yeah,
hmm.
of course I'm going to stop in Denver, because that's like a place you're going to go to no matter what, because of the
Yeah.
fights and things like that. But of course you want to see the real thing in
Yeah.
Colorado. You want to experience it. You want to experience the lifestyle, the spirituality of it, because I heard there's a lot of that there too. So I
Yeah.
want to be able to experience that because that's what makes us, those experiences. So yeah, Denver,
Yeah.
Colorado it is. I should be visiting that too. So let me see. My few questions for you is When did you realize that traveling is a huge part of your life?
When did I realize it's a huge part of my life?
Mm-hmm.
I think that I know that we all have a purpose in life first, so if I could go there with it.
Right.
I know that I was raised to work in my community. I was raised to go assist other people. I was raised to help people within my community. So that's another part where I say I love meeting people right now. And one of the things from passion from ClubMed, I also have my own business. I aspired to be like 2 years ago,
Right.
which I'm a big advocate for small business owners. So I just always knew deep inside that not only do I want to do things in my community, but also my business aspirations will take me to other destinations too. Because I'm not going to be one of those people that I'm just going to be complacent within my community. I want to really get out there and reach other people. I want to learn from other people. I want to learn different cultures, languages, see different, all kinds of different things to that nature. So that's when it really began. Being in the business that I am, I feel that it's going to take me to places I've never seen before and to meet people I've never imagined meeting before. So that's what I'm hoping to get out of that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, the importance, because I mean, what you do is really bringing businesses together, people like me, micro businesses and small businesses like mine, you know, bringing us together and having a community. And that is more or less in its own way traveling.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
You're touching people from, I mean, me with all the nationality I have, I mean, that's already one part of the world.
Yes, yes.
Then, you know, and then you get to meet other people, and then you get to, you know, probably hear them speak, hear their accents, maybe have dinner with them in their homes, and you know, not necessarily going to their country, but eating their food with them is traveling with them. You know, traveling could be experienced in different ways, just depending on how one sees it. That's how I look at it.
When I first came on a Club Med, Cynthia, I had the opportunity to go to Sandpiper in Florida. You've been there before. I'm like, okay, here's my first Club Med experience. I was just in awe. Although it's Florida, I wanted to go somewhere exotic, but you know what? For me, I haven't been to it. We'll get to probably that later. My large body of water was the swimming pools here in Tucson. So when I got to Florida, I'm like, okay, I could take the baby steps. You know what I mean? It's like, in and going over the water like that was a different experience. But I love what you said, because when I got there, I didn't tell anyone that I worked for ClubMed.
Right.
I didn't tell anyone that I was in leadership. I was snooping around. I wanted to see how the visitors, the guest members, how they were enjoying themselves, and I wanted to see how us employees were treating it.
Right.
And everything made me feel so comfortable. I'm like, wow, this is what we do all day long. So I met, like what you're saying, I got a piece of Asia, I got a piece of Italy, and I got a piece of
France.
Bahamas. Yeah, exactly.
You got a piece of France too.
Exactly. Inviting me to their table. They said, hey, I see you the other day. Come eat with us tomorrow.
Right.
His accent was so strong, but I'm like, you know what? This guy took me, he invited me home.
Right.
I've never experienced that before. And you just have to go in with an open mind. And when you go in, you really want to meet people, it can happen. You just have to get out there and go do it.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree. I totally agree. So what would you say your favorite destination of travel is? Where?
Ooh. Wow. Well, you know, as ClubMed, we have at least 70 different beautiful choices, delightful choices to choose from. To tell you honestly, I want to look at our one in Africa, Morocco. My sister happened to be born there.
Really?
So when my father was in the military, he had her there. We all were born in different states because I'm a part of the military family.
Is that what they call the military brat?
Yeah, military brat. You know, so and so I wanted to go there. I wanted to see how it was. My mother, my father used to explain how beautiful it was, exotic, and how people would act, and people are very, very nice, and etc. So I told my sister, I promised her whenever I went to a different country, I was going to take her as a brother and younger sister and everything. So I want to get her. She's never been there. I've never been there. I said, hey, let's go back. Let's do it together. So that's going to be my first destination. If I can have a second one, I want to go to the Dominican Republic to Meaches. And that's another spot I want to go to.
That's a part of life, or part of the world that I call home, the DR.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I usually go to the DR at least 2-3 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the people are phenomenal. They are warm, they are kind, but it's just that they're very reserved compared to, the Hispanics. Compared to the Mexicans, they're very reserved. But
okay.
But the DR, the Dominican Republic, they're very kind, very warm.
Yes.
Like if I ever think of retiring, I want to retire in the DR.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's interesting.
Honestly, I do. I really do. Talking about your sister going to Tunisia or Morocco, one of the two. Morocco, you said, right? Was it Morocco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Morocco.
Because ClubMed also has in Tunisia. They have in Tunisia. Yes. They're opening a new one, I believe, end of this year, next year in South Africa.
Correct.
And next year. Another one coming up again in Seychelles.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, I'm on top of it.
You've done your homework.
Yes. I am a true believer of all-inclusive, and Club Med is on top of my list, because Club Med treats me like family, treats my children like family. Club Med remembers my kids on their birthdays, sends me messages about their birthdays. Yeah, so that's the kind of relationship. And so just knowing that, you're selling a product with a company that appreciates you is key. So you working for them, I'm sure it's even better. You know what I mean? It's even better.
It is. And I know we're talking about all kind of different things, but at Club Med is I was totally embraced in a family. You can work at different jobs, and I've had a lot of great experiences at different jobs, and some experiences wasn't so. You know what I mean? And you're going to have your challenges anywhere, because people provide challenges for you, both good and bad. But Club Med genuinely has a good family that we embrace from our call centers. So we're happy to be right here in Tempe, Arizona, and then we have our other headquarters. Our headquarters is in Miami, as you know. Then we have one in Canada. So I'm involved with all three of the centers, and we embrace one another. We have that spirit. Like right here, we have to work from home. So I Zoom with my colleagues just like this all day long. We check in with each other, see how we're doing.
So you visit their countries without actually moving, because you actually
without even actually moving there. Yeah, I'm trying to. I said, you guys got to invite me out there to Canada. I would love to go, but right now I don't think the president's going to let us come over there.
I heard that last week, and I've been talking about it. I said, oh my God, let's not even go that way yet, because I don't even know what to say.
No, I think we need to take a little chill for that part for right now.
Yeah.
But you're right. We are families. It's good working there, but it all starts from within, and I think it definitely does go to the resort. So it's a family from the call center when people call us, to a family once you arrive at the village, as you already know. So it's very genuine. It's very genuine.
It's a culture. It's a Club Med culture. It's a Club Med culture. It's indescribable. When I tell people, they tell me, because I sell other resorts. But I'm always going like, what? I know those places. I've been there. But if you ask me, I'll say Club Med. And they're like, you just love Club Med. I said, yes, I do, because it's been tested and tried by me and my children. You see what I'm saying? So it's so important. So let me ask you this. How are you coping? I know 2020 has been a coded year for us. Coded. It's been coded.
Yeah.
Now when you hear 2020, it's either you run or you stay. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So with 2020 being here, still here, how are you coping not being able to travel the way you want to freely?
That is tough. the last couple of years, I've really had to take care of a lot of, we all have personal things, and I had to take care of a lot of personal things. Driving back and forth from Phoenix to Tucson, taking care of an elderly parent and family members and stuff. I had planned for this year, beginning January, I'm like, I'm going to Turks again, I'm going to visit Meaches, and I'm going to Cancun. I wanted to go to Turks for snorkeling and all these good different things. And it came to a screeching stop, like for everyone. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this was my plan for this year. Not only that, now I'm at the house working, which is a blessing, but it's like, okay, I can't get anywhere, so what do I do? I still continue to
take some ice cream, Karl.
Take some ice cream. Lots of it. We just had 31 record days of 100 plus out here in Phoenix, Arizona. So I bought out all the ice cream out of all Fry's superstores out here. But so one of the things I do, so since I couldn't get that travel, I was really bummed out about it. As my colleagues that work around me, they all had plans with their families and friends to go places all the time. We tried out so we could sell it. So that didn't happen this year. So I do like, as I said earlier, I like to hit the road. I love mountains. I've been to, what I did from Vegas, I went to Vegas like 2 or 3 times last year prior to COVID. Sedona, Arizona is a beautiful place to go to.
Yes, it's on the list. It's on my bucket list, yes.
It's on your bucket list. It's a must-see. So I've been out there hiking around the streams, the water, the red rocks and mountainsides, did wine tasting, went through the grapes and winery areas, different things to that nature. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't go abroad, but I could still dream and do things here. You know what I'm saying? So I made the best of it. I got on the road and got my ice cream, and I was good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, so just being able to deal with traveling and not traveling. You give us, because I mean, I know the ClubMed resorts are known for mindfulness and wellness, and that's my niche. That's my specialty. What do you think about wellness? Wellness travel.
It's huge.
From a ClubMed perspective, what would you say? Or even from you as a person, what would you think of wellness?
Like wellness travel. Okay, I would think that I think it's a must for ClubMed's perspective, and for myself, I think it's a must-have from a wellness point of view, because it gives you the balance when you get to the ClubMed, and wellness is something that you have to have. I mean, look at right now. What better time to, you come from a personal loss in your family to some things going on. We have to try to plan wellness for ourselves. We could still plan to get away. Our sandpiper's open. I may take a dive and go out that way. Get a spa or do some type of things to that nature and get out and take care of myself that way. But I think if you don't stop it, you have to stop and smell the roses sometimes. So the wellness part should always be incorporated in your lifestyle. So I think it's a must. It gives you that balance. So
I totally agree with that. And what better time do we want to plan a wellness travel if not now or after the pandemic? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, I'm just going to throw this in and let you know, next year, starting up next year, May, towards my birthday, celebrating my birthday anniversary. I have this thing I want to start doing called the Bucket List by Thia. So I'm creating a group, and it's going to be a group of people, doesn't matter, male, female, whatever, but traveling based on our bucket list. So we'll come together once a year and just go somewhere. So we already have it all planned out, and I'm going to start inviting people sometime next week to join the group. And I'm making space. The destination for next year is Turks and Caicos, so you better come.
Yay!
Yes, the destination. The dates are already lined out, which is April 29th until May 6th. Yeah, I already booked it. I blocked the dates with the groups already, so we're already in line with that. And you know, I'm giving people options of being able to stay 7 days or stay 5 days, depending on your
Yeah.
pocket. But the idea is during that time, we are going to be doing 1 or 2 days of mindfulness and 1 or 2 days of wellness. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, and we're going to incorporate spa. You know, just a matter of taking care of ourselves while we are away. So
That is so amazing. What a great concept. What a great ideal to do that. I've never heard of something like that before. I mean, to create a bucket list and invite other people and to put their bucket list ideals in there where they want to go and start doing things together,
yeah,
encouraging one another,
yes,
wellness together, trips together,
yes,
support, you have your support team together. I
yes.
mean, that's amazing. And to start off at Turks, that's my place right there.
I know, because I'm going to be inviting you on there. You and your wife, you and your friends and your family come onto the group. You know, I will be sending all of that pretty soon. And and you know, you're a promoter in your own way. So you know,
Yeah.
we're going to be working together on those projects. But I have 1 or 2 last questions for you, so I don't
Okay.
take more of your precious time. Now, let me ask you this. What is your favorite thing about doing business with Thia's Travel Services?
Wow. And I don't mean it that way. Cynthia, I honestly know, and I'm so glad that this is on your social media.
It is.
And I'm not being prejudiced because I work for Club Med. You are one person, if anybody's looking at this, you want to definitely get a hold of Thia's Travel Services because Thea goes above and beyond for you. She will plan your trip. Um, she's professional. She listens to you. She understands what you want to do. She just got done talking about wellness. She just got done talking about different things that we're discussing right now. So she wants to get an idea of the person that you are so she can help you plan the best destination of your dream. And that's what it's all about. So when you go to Cynthia, I know firsthand, if I don't have something booked the way Cynthia wants me to have it booked for her client, she will pick up the phone and call me.
You know
So,
I will. You
you
know
know,
I will.
and we appreciate that because you're one of our top sellers. You stay on it with your clients, and we want to definitely accommodate you. So, you guys, if you're planning any type of trip, you definitely got to get a hold of Cynthia at Thea Travel. She will
Thank
go
you
above and
so
beyond for
much.
you.
Thank you. It's
You
such
know
a
your stuff,
pleasure. Thank
huh?
you. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
such a pleasure to have you. I'm so glad that you could
thank
make
you.
it. I know you have a few things going on, and you know I'm
Yeah,
wishing you the very best. Our audience
thank
thanks
you.
you. One of my audience just said Morocco is gorgeous, so put that on your bucket list when you join
Oh,
that
great.
group. Throw it in there. So you know we are so excited to do business with you. We're so excited to have you up on the show and get
Thank you.
started. Please spread the word, and I'll be sharing this video, you know, so that you can see too. So thank you so much, Karl, and you have
Yeah.
a beautiful and healthy day.
Well, thank you for inviting me. You have the same yourself as well. And good luck with your bucket list ventures next year. I look
Yeah,
forward to hearing more from it about it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank
bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
You look gorgeously amazing, Ariane.
Thank you. You're so kind. You look great yourself. I know with all this crazy weather, it's cold. 70 would be cold.
Oh my goodness. Well, guess what? A couple of days ago, we thought we were freezing in Charlotte.
Right.
And
Well, you
then,
did have cold weather.
well, we thought we were freezing. And today we're sunny. So,
There is that, yes.
but how are you doing today? Thank you for coming on my Thea Talks Travel. So
Thank
glad
you.
to have you.
Thanks so much for having me, Thea. I appreciate it so much and definitely looking forward to talking travel with you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, really, you're blowing my mind. You look so beautiful. So beautiful. You know, we still haven't had the opportunity to meet, but I can't wait for all of this most likely to be over so we can have some sort of normalcy and meet and go for that cocktail. How about that?
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. Looking forward to the new
Awesome.
normal and new things ahead.
Yes, we agree. Well, first of all, dear, all I want to know in the beginning, and I'm sure what our viewers will love to know at this time is, tell us about you and ClubMed.
Mhm. Very good. So I have worked in the travel industry. This is going into year number 14 for me. So I was a hospitality major and have always been in hospitality and tourism. That's what I've done for the past 14, 15 years. I couldn't imagine anything differently in my life, quite honestly, between what I was thinking of initially majoring in school. And I remember that moment of travel when everything kind of came full circle for me, I guess I have to say. But I have been working for ClubMed for almost a year officially now. And the first resort I got a chance to go and experience was ClubMed Cancun back in December of 2019. And then I most recently visited our only currently our only domestic resort in the U.S., Sandpiper Bay in Port St. Lucie, Florida. So, I've got some great stories to tell you about that, but those are some of the resorts that I've been to, even though ClubMed is very much a global product. We're the pioneers, the innovators into destinations and, places that maybe you've never heard of before. ClubMed usually is the first one to go into, we are the first ones that go into these destinations. So a fantastic opportunity more than ever before.
Awesome. Awesome. I mean, for sure ClubMed is one of my favorite resorts to visit. And I'm a big promoter of it. And it's just so beautiful to know. And again, this is my business manager with ClubMed, Ariel Lewis. Thank you so much for coming on this show. You're my second guest. And in between, can you first of all tell us that first experience you had in the first ClubMed you visited, Cancun? Because that's one of my favorite spots.
I have to tell you, it's also one of my favorites as well. And one of the things that I had happened was as soon as I arrived, there's something that really has to be said about the ClubMed spirit and what's known as our great organizers. So when you work for ClubMed, you're actually known as a great organizers, and then our guests, instead of saying the client or whoever, it's we recognize you as the great member. And so the funny thing was, as soon as I arrived, I'd met this gentleman named Ramon. He was working in he was just working front desk operations. I was the last reservation to check in for the night because of flight delays and just things that happen in travel, And so I met him, and I met Sydney, who'd worked in our groups department. So warm, so sweet, so welcoming. And I felt like I was instantly a VIP, even though, yes, I was going to work for ClubMed. I just felt super special. As soon as I arrived, they had pointed out everything and where it was and things of where to go. And, if you're looking to grab a quick bite to eat before going off to bed, or, hey, this is the disco, this is where we're going to go and hang out later. If you want to go meet up and have a drink, I felt like I instantly had felt like I was instantly a part of a community. I wasn't like a lost, confused traveler for the first time, which was, I've gone to many different resort chains and I've worked for many as well in my former travel life as well. And I have to say, it was just such an amazing experience. And then, Ramon and everybody had made sure I'd gotten to my room safe and sound. And then the next morning I went to go venture and really explore ClubMed Cancun. And, it was great because I got a chance to have a proper tour of the resort. And as I was getting a tour, I was also getting a chance to have my cup of coffee, and I ran into Ramon, who's working in guest relations that day and transfers. So it's funny because you see that the great organizers moving throughout different parts of the resort. You might see like Sydney working entertainment that evening, or it was just this way of knowing that everybody could tell you if you're lost or what you needed. There was somebody to direct you, and it was always very much like the Disney way of, oh, you don't know how to get there? Let me show you how to do this or how to get here. And they wanted to know and learn more about you and the things that you were wanting to experience. Like if you wanted to try water skiing and you never gotten a chance to experience that before, what'd you think? What'd you feel? Or, have you ever tried trapeze, and looking at your face right before you go to do the first catch and then you fall and you're like, what do I do next? It's those types of experiences that really make the whole ClubMed spirit really truly come alive. And we employ over 120 different countries throughout ClubMed. And I will say, You know, we've got a great kids program, and we have all different ages going from 4 months old through 17 years old. So definitely a fantastic factor. And just really being able to knowing that we're the pioneers, innovators into these destinations, great kids clubs, the Club Med spirit, and being all inclusive as well. So whether you're going and traveling with us in the Caribbean, or did you even know that you have the opportunity to go skiing with us in Europe or even in Asia? I mean, we have so much. We have over 70 different resorts. We're continuing to expand. We are actually due to open up La Rosière in France this December of 2020. So that's definitely exciting. And then we're also opening up our resort in Seychelles December of 2020 as well too. And we're continuing to grow about 5 new resorts within the next 5 years. So a lot of great and exciting things for you to go and experience if you've never had the opportunity to do so before either. So Club Med's a fantastic product. If you've never gotten a chance to go and experience, please come and join us. We would love to, and we're really looking forward to welcoming you in the new normal, and definitely excited to have you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ariane.
Sure.
And you know what? I'm going to ask you another question about Club Med. I want to ask you about Sandpiper, because now we talked about the Mexico, Cancun, and the kind of experience you had there, being your first time going there. And tell us, what's the difference between Cancun Club Med and Sandpiper Club Med in the U.S., being the only all-inclusive resort in the country?
Sure thing. So, you know, Club Med Cancun is great because right where we're located, we're all of like 15 minutes away from Cancun International Airport. I will say what's great about it is that, you know, if you are a snorkeler or scuba diver, you can snorkel right off the ocean there to one of the second largest reefs. So perfect for anybody that wants to go get PADI scuba certified, or if you were looking to trying wakeboarding or water skiing or anything like that. We also have a private little quiet lagoon for you to go and try and learn how to do it. And then we also have the ocean as well, which I personally found myself there at least once a day at some point in the day there, just being able to go and enjoy and swim in the ocean and being able to kick back and relax. But I mean, we were the very first ones in Cancun, so that was before Hotel Zone and everything got developed. We have a photo back from like 1974 when we were the only ones there, and then currently to today, I mean, it's night and day difference, I have to say. All Club Med's resorts are under 500 rooms, so it's not like you're going to a massive monstrosity when going to travel with Club Med. And also, you know, that you have you know, you have the flying trapeze, you have all the, if you want to try archery, if you want to go do yoga classes. I mean, Club Med is a super for the active and the young and young at heart, honestly. It's a great resort if you want to learn how to do, you know, things that maybe you never got a chance to try, like Hobie Cat, or if you want to go and do power sailing or windsurfing or things like that. Now, the difference is, you know, Club Med Cancun is great for families, for couples, for groups, because we do have what's called our exclusive collection, our Jade space that we do have at Club Med Cancun. So that's a larger room accommodation. So basing it from our superior or deluxe room categories, which could be anywhere from about 5 to 600 square feet in the basic room categories, to our exclusive collection where you have L'Occitane bathroom amenities, robes, slippers, champagne in the evening after 6 p.m., premium alcohol. You'll find that you have room service from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., complimentary Wi-Fi. These are all the things that you get, a larger room accommodations and space, closer proximity to the heartbeat of the resort, quite honestly. So it's a really great location depending on you know, your family and what people are looking for in general. And then the other thing that I would say is we do have our brand new Aqua Marina space that we have just added in recently. So great for families. I don't know about you, Thia, but growing up, I was a family of 5. So I'm the youngest of my family. And I always found myself crawled up on like a couch chair somewhere in a room. And that was my bed for like however many days I was traveling with my family. When you're a family of 5, or, you know, for those larger families, this is a great space just because you're able to accommodate for the larger families. Like the room that I was in was a superior family suite. And as soon as I walked in, there was a restroom for the kids, 2 twin beds. And then there was also a, you know, your actual like coffee, tea station, drinks. And then there was mom and dad space with like a king size bed, and then a beautiful view of the ocean too. So perfect, quiet, you know, great location. Now, the difference from Club Med Cancun to ClubMed Sandpiper Bay is that was a quick whirlwind. Sorry, I have to tell you, going into ClubMed Sandpiper Bay, you know, Sandpiper is about 45 minutes away from Palm Beach International Airport. It's at about 90 minutes, whether you're going from Miami or Orlando, depending on how you want to mix up your travels or how you plan to envision your travel. I will say that Sandpiper is, you know, it's great for groups and for families. You know, it's about 338 rooms. It's perfect for very much making you feel like you're at home. You know, as soon as you arrive, we're right on the Port St. Lucie River. So that's an instant difference about us, I will say. But if you were to go and walk up to the river, it's really quite wide and spacious, and it almost makes you feel like you're kind of by an ocean of some sort. I mean, you're all 20 minutes away from Jensen Beach as well, too. So if you get a rental car and you want to go down, I mean, I interned down in West Palm Beach years ago. So I have to say Jensen Beach, if you want to have a true beach day. Also, if you land right outside of Palm Beach International Airport and your luggage just so happens not to make it, the outlets are right there outside of the airport. If you already knew, I have to tell you.
Right.
It definitely makes it, you know, when you arrive to ClubMed Sandpiper Bay, though, it's definitely a very much at-home type of resort. We have a golf course right on site. We also have a flying trapeze if you want to go and try that. Our kids clubs that we do feature, once again, from ages 4 months old through 17 years old. And we've really divided up those age groups again, just to make sure that everybody has, you know, that we've paid attention to each and every one of those age groups. Because we know when doing a family vacation, we know how hard it is to truly entertain anybody and everybody, you know, and teenagers are the hardest to please, trust me.
I agree. Yeah.
So I totally hear you there. You know, but if you want to if you want to learn how to do, you know, paddleboarding or kayaking or all of those things, it's a great space to be able to go and do so. But, you know, I will say Sandpiper Bay, they do have a L'Occitane spa right on at the resort. They do have an adults only pool, jacuzzi. They have a bar right next to the pool. So at least you get a chance to really kick back and relax. It's not that they, you know, that's their dedicated space for adults only. Otherwise, of course, you've got, you know, our open air meeting spaces. And then also just for local events, you have the Slice Bar if you want to go and grab a cocktail. Marketplace is one of our great buffets that we do feature at the resort. And then Riverside is an a la carte restaurant as well. And we do ask that you purchase a bottle of wine when making a reservation there too, which of course we can always arrange for you when you arrive.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, coming from you and telling us all these beautiful things about ClubMed, you know, coming from you, I think it weighs more compared to me because, of course, I'm a preferred partner now with ClubMed, but my experiences always shines through. But just hearing my audience hearing people hear directly from you and those experiences and, you know, your first time in those resorts and just, you know, being without even associated or affiliated with ClubMed, to me, it's so enticing. I mean, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go back to Punta Cana, which is my all-time favorite spot. And, you know, I heard about the new one opening up. Is it in Seychelles?
Yes, Seychelles is due to open up in December of 2020. So we are super excited, especially with everything that has been going on recently in the world. Knowing that we're actually opening up 2 resorts still before the ending of the year, I mean, is huge. And I mean, we are due to open up another resort in December of 2021. It is ClubMed La Rosière or excuse me, not La Rosière. We are due to open that one for the end of this year, but brain fart, sorry y'all, this is live. This is what you get on live Instagram. I will tell you, it is
what about the one? What about the
I'm
one
so sorry for the
opening
brain fart.
What about the one in Canada? The one
Yeah,
in
so
Canada.
ClubMed Charlevoix is due to open in December of 2021. We do have an exclusive space. So it's a resort inside of the resort is the best way to truly explain it. For those clients, once again, they're looking for a larger room accommodation, you know, to have the robes, slippers, you know, complimentary, you know, champagne after 6 p.m. if you want to be able to have premium drinks, room service from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., complimentary Wi-Fi. All of those things, of course, play into your vacation experience. But what's so exciting for us is that this is going to be our first ClubMed in
North
Canada.
America. In
So
which
in
part
North
of
America,
America?
exciting
Yeah.
stuff as well, which is just fantastic. We did back in November of 2019. I will say that we also opened up in it's called, the destination is called Meeches, but it's in Dominican Republic. So this is Northeast Dominican Republic, about an hour, 20 minutes away from Punta Cana International Airport. And what's fabulous about this resort is that it's an exclusive collection resort. It's the first new build we've made in 25 years. And half the resort is really dedicated towards family, and the other half is actually dedicated towards adults only. About 2,000 square feet of stretch of beach. It's absolutely unbelievable. We are the only ones there. We have news that I think in the next 7 years, we're going to have many other competitors be joining us, but come and join us now because nobody else is there. It's fabulous.
I know.
All the things
I know.
you want to
I
experience,
know.
right?
Yes. I know. Like I've been telling you through the quarantine and all of that, that I cannot wait to go and experience Mitch's. You know, I mean,
Yes.
I've had clients come back and tell me about Mitch's, and you know, I'm like, okay, tell me no more. It's time for me to go. You know, so yes, but well, going into the next segment, these are going to be questions about you.
Mm-hmm.
So my first question to you is, can you tell us about your love for traveling?
So, a great question about your love for my love for travel. I have to tell you, the very first time, you know, I have grown up in the travel industry, quite honestly. So I think it was pretty much ingrained in my blood from really coming into the industry. I remember one of my first trips was going to London, and I'd gotten a chance to fly. Just the overall first time experience of going into a new, going into a new continent and being able to hear different languages and all of those varieties of things really made me give a different passion and experience for travel that I absolutely fell in love with. I was more curious than ever. And it always comes down to those experiences, because those are the best teachers to be able to guide you through those experiences, whether it's your first time into that destination or if it's your 12th or 20th time into that destination. Every time you travel, there's something new that really inspires you and wants you to build a better envisionment of yourself, right? So that's when I really honestly had fallen in love with travel, was when I was a kid. And
not to take away time and age, but could you give us an idea when that was? Like, were you in your mid-20s, late 20s, just approximately, so that we can visualize you then?
Early preteens at that point. And I mean, prior to that, I remember my parents were like, well, where do you want to go? And I mean, we had always done the family vacations to, a lot of the theme parks and everything else. And they pretty much asked us, like, instead of us trying to plan your family vacation, and like I said before, doing a family vacation gets stressful and can be overwhelmed, and you're trying to honestly appease so many different people and personalities, and you know how overwhelming that can be. Right. And so when our parents asked us, and it's like, I want to go to Europe, and it's like, how overwhelming that must be. Do you speak the language? What do you do? How do you do these things? It's all of those questions that come up. And going to London was such an amazing experience for me, but then it really made me exercise my mind more than before, because it's like, well, if we went to Europe, where else can we go? What else can we go see and do? You know what I mean? So that's really when the love of travel really started to grow and continue to expand beyond that too.
Excellent. Okay. So when did you say when would you call yourself a travel enthusiast?
I would definitely say I'm an enthusiast, because it's those moments that you have, it's those moments that you have in travel that, that entice you, and, it gives you those did you know facts and things like that, that really makes you want to ask other questions to everybody else of, when you went to South America, when you went to Australia, when you went to New Zealand, did you expect this? What did you expect? Excuse me. But it's those moments.
Drink some water, girl. Go ahead. Okay. Drink some water.
As long as you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So excuse me for that. But I will say, it's those moments that you have that really gets, you see the excitement that comes in your eyes, that, it's that moment that you have in travel, that's when so many people, they can see why you're so enticed or why you're so excited, and you want to be able to tell them all about those experiences. And when people hear about your story, like about the story you're about to tell them, they know you're excited versus, okay, did you hear about this destination? Versus, oh my gosh, did you hear about this destination? Do you know all these things they have to offer? Did you hear about this? Like, I mean, there's destinations I never thought I would ever get a chance to go to in my lifetime that I've been so fortunate and very grateful that I've had those experiences. But I also didn't, they weren't on the top of my bucket list either. So it's one of those things that when I got a chance to go, it really, I was like, that's great. You want to go to XYZ destination, but you really need to go here because of XYZ reason instead. And I'm like, oh, wow, tell me more. So I would like to say yes. I would like to say yes to that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially, being able to do it with your family at a young age. That was also the kind of category I fall into, where now all of a sudden it's not just being a business, but a total lifestyle for me. So I relate with what you're saying. So would you say, well, this will be my next thought here. What makes traveling so important for you?
So I have grown, like I said, I have grown up in the travel industry, and it was actually back when I was 17. I had initially planned, our family saying was, save your money and I'll buy it for you. So I'd gotten 3 summer jobs, and I had literally worked 2 summers straight through. There was a chance to go on a guided trip to go to Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii. So my family saying was, save your money and I'll buy it for you. And that's exactly what happened. So I asked my family, I asked my parents, can I go? And they said, okay, but how are you going to get around? Because obviously I was right around the time of 16, 17, and I didn't have a car. And what was my priorities? And I was like, a car will always be around. The chance to go to, the South Pacific, I don't know how many times I'm going to have that opportunity in my life. And looking ahead, I had no idea what was going to be in store for me. And it was that experience just then when I fell truly in love with travel. And, that first time when it's all those things you've dreamt about travel and what it's going to look like and what is it going to feel and how's it going to sound. And I really hope that this destination is going to fulfill every box that I've had in travel. And when I went to Australia and New Zealand, Hawaii, it really did fulfill those moments. Like, I mean, I had goosebumps. And it's funny because, nearly almost 20 years later, I have still fell in love and still have that same moment that, when I think back to it, that was just incredible to actually go and see a live luau. To in my adrenaline junkie days, yes, I had bungee jumped over a river in New Zealand. I had initially signed up to go skydiving in Australia, but then ended up subbing that out and learning how to surf in the Sydney Harbor, and getting a chance to have those lifetimes experiences, meeting the Maori culture people. It's all those experiences. I would have never gotten a chance to have that experience ever before in my life that I'm so grateful for. And it's that moment of travel that really comes to bite you hard. And, when I was actually in New Zealand, I remember I called my parents. It was probably about 2 a.m. East Coast. And I told them I was between if I wanted to go to sports management or if I wanted to go to hospitality and tourism. That was the moment that my parents were like, we probably should have taken that conversation way more seriously. But 2 a.m. on like a Sunday morning, nobody really knew what to think.
Right.
But I also didn't think about the time change and whatnot. But that's when I really decided. I was at a really cool hotel in New Zealand that I fell in love with. And, I went to stay on the world's largest sand island in Fraser Island, Australia, and off the coast of Queensland, and just truly fell in love with travel and tourism and hospitality. And that's when I decided. I was also looking at colleges that far abroad. And
Oh, wow.
in Australia, they had a camp. The school I ended up attending to had they had a sub base in, they had another satellite school in Switzerland and Australia. So I saw the one in Australia, but of course I was going to have to pay for that plane ticket. So I ended up going to the East Coast school, so it's fine. But
Right.
that moment that I think really, that's when it all hit and really came all together for me, I think,
Excellent. Well, I have a couple more questions for you. Can you recount encounters with interesting people you've met while traveling?
So, when you sent me these questions, I really looked at it and I really thought about it. I have to tell you, and I mean, I've been in travel for some time, I think now, and I have to tell you, I think when I really thought back to those experiences, Toronto to Denver, and really having those encounters of just, when something happens during your travels, people that you meet along the way, some I've actually kept, I would say out of those 25 people, I would say at least like 15 of them I actually keep in contact with. And I actually met one of my very best friends 21 years ago when we were actually in Turks and Caicos. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
and we still stay in contact. She now lives abroad in Switzerland, but we grew up being pen pals, and just how technology and everything else changes. It's just funny how, you know, we continue to travel and we just meet up, but we actually met on vacation, and it's just those types of encounters. But I've had a couple friends that have also been in that type of situation where I met them on vacation, and we all try to visit and try to meet one another. So I say about 25 people, give or take, but definitely exciting and very cool, because you never know where the roads are going to lead you, right?
I totally agree. Talking about pen pals, I don't think millennials understand that, but okay.
I did. I promise you. I so did. There was a day of writing, putting pen to paper. Man, I have those notes. I mean, like, we joke how, like, it went from writing pen to paper and then going into text message, or going to email, then going to text message, then to what, like, you know, Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp and whatever
Yeah,
it is today.
and Instagram.
And Instagram. Yeah. I mean, like, we always joke about how old we now feel. We're like, wow. I remember we actually went to Dublin, Ireland, to celebrate 21 years of friendship, and we're like, that's ironic how we just end up in Ireland to celebrate 21 years of friendship.
21 years of friendship. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, I was counting down with a few friends that I've known for like over 20 years, you know, 29 years, you know, to go that far. And I'm like, whew, that's some age.
Right? No, I hear you. That's the thing. Like, when my friends and I were sitting there, we're counting, we're like, we're not old. The friendship's old. We're like, what's
No.
us,
We,
right?
we just aging. We aging.
We just age like fine wine. That's what it is. That's what we said. That we're like, oh,
There you go. There you go, girl. There you go. Okay. So another question. We're rounding up in a few, but one more question, or a couple more questions for you. Have you ever attempted to learn the language of a place that you visited? And how did that help your experience if you ever tried? I know you speak French, don't you?
So I have to learn. So that's funny. Yes, I do. So in grade school, I was actually, had taught us German and Spanish, which became very handy in my career because of working for a majority of resorts based in Latin America. So that has became very, very helpful for me. Some days my Spanish is way stronger than other days, I have to say. German has came handy for when I traveled abroad with my mom to Belgium, and when cutting through more of the German, Dutch, Flemish airports and things like that. That has started to help me. When I landed in Zurich, Switzerland, like a Swiss German, so there are certain words that you say that should just be so simple, but it's definitely harder said than done, and you're trying to think of things, and trying to exit out of the Zurich airport was the hardest thing. And I'm like looking, and you can see the stewardess is looking at me, and I'm like, what do I do? Where did that come from? I mean, this was years. I hadn't practiced German in like 5 or 6 years, and just kind of came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, right, okay, this is beautiful. I hope this continues onward, and hoping I'm using the right words. I will say,
one of my audience is asking you to actually say something in German. I know you just said Dankeschön, because I'm German too, and I can speak German. So go ahead, say something in German to us. I have a couple of German audience out there.
All right. I hope to keep you guys all at least entertained. Ich heiße Ariane. I think I remembered that one. I think my name is, there was Danke as thank you, and those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head at the very moment. I'm sorry. But
du hast das gut gesagt. That is, you spoke well.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Danke. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I mean, right now, I'm sure whoever wanted that request has his request fulfilled. And he also said you have a very, very interesting life. So that's another one there.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it is. I have to say, I'm very grateful for all the experiences that I've had. I will also say I had to learn French when I was going to Paris with a handful of my friends, and I had also tried to learn French on one of my very first trips to Quebec, probably about nearly 15 years ago. And I remember saying like, merci is thank you, bonjour. I knew how to count to 3. Ame du fromage was, I think, either past the butter or like, I mean, I was trying so hard. There was, so, I mean, I had a couple moments where I could figure out certain words, and then also working for ClubMed, our actual head office, like I report to Miami, but our actual head office is in Paris, France. So I'm very much trying to work on my French. And so that's still very much a work in progress for me, I have to say, but definitely still trying in every possible way of trying to learn and obviously expand the mind, you know.
I totally agree. I mean, languages for me is the people, and it's, you know, it just makes it all easy when you can at least speak someone else's language. It makes it very warm. It makes them very, very open to you. So, you know, like German, French. Right now, I'm working pretty much on my Spanish, English language, and in total I speak so far about 7 different languages. So when I hear people putting in the effort to speak, it really excites me, because in all, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just a small world with just different people, but uniquely different, you know. Well, our last question for you today before I let you go, I know you have a busy day ahead, is what is your favorite destination to visit, Ariane?
I got 3. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
My 3. I will
fire away. Fire away, girl.
I appreciate it. So my top 3 that I got for y'all. I had to write this down because I put some thought into this. I have to tell you, I had a handful of answers for y'all.
I've been haunting you for a few weeks, haven't I?
I mean, I got it prepped. I was trying to be prepper, y'all. So I will say, so my top 3 destinations, I love Mexico because the people, they're just so caring and so warm and welcoming, and there's nothing better than going into the destination and having such amazing people that you get a chance to work alongside with. And Mexico is such an amazing destination in general. There are some of the most amazing beaches, have some of that most beautiful blue turquoise water, and then just the culture, being able to go and experience like one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, to go see Tulum, to go to Chichen Itza, you know, to go, you know.
Oh, that was my favorite spot too, in Mexico. Yes.
It's, you know, it's those experiences that are fantastic, I have to tell you, that are just absolutely incredible. I would say Fraser Island, because it's the world's largest sand island, and just having that experience and was just truly incredible. There's a place called Lake Mackenzie. It's the world's largest. So it's on Fraser Island. It's about a couple of minutes west of Fraser Island, and Lake Mackenzie is it's a freshwater lake, but it's got that like purification, like powder confection type sand. So you have like the white beautiful sand, turquoise water, and then it goes into a navy water. Like there's not much of a difference between the turquoise to navy, but it's a freshwater lake.
Okay.
And it's in the middle of like nowhere. It is incredible. I truly love this part of the world. I swear I'd end up in Gilligan's Island. That's where I'd probably end up one day in my life. So just an incredible destination. So I really love that area. And then I would say Turks and Caicos, once again, to the ocean, and just the fact that it's on one of the world's largest, one of the world's best beaches, and being fortunate that ClubMed is there too. I mean, that's the reason why we have such a heavy repeat of clientele there, because A, it's adults only, but B, world's best beach, you can't beat it, you know, hop, skip, and a jump away. So definitely exciting stuff.
Exactly. Awesome. It was such a pleasure to have you, girl. Thank you for honoring me. And we might repeat this again, but a kind of different setting altogether. But I'm so glad that you made it. My audience is asking, they hope that you add Munich to one of your favorite spots. Is Munich one of your favorite spots?
I'm sorry, say that again.
One of my audience is saying that they hope that you add Munich, Germany, to one of your favorite spots. Have you ever been to Munich?
No, I have not. I've gotten as far as Frankfurt Airport, so I don't know if that necessarily counts. I don't think it does.
No, we are that way. We're in the South. Munich is the South. So maybe one time, maybe we can go when all of this is done. We can go for the Oktoberfest in Munich.
Right, there we go.
There you go. And then we can go and party and drink some beer.
Yes.
That's if I drink beer, but yes, we will drink some beer because it's Oktoberfest. You have to drink something.
You have to. You have to be local.
Yes, girl. And I thank you so much for today. Thank you also to our beautiful audience who took out their own time to come be with us today. And yes, glad to have you, and have a beautiful evening, girl.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for all tuning in. We appreciate your support, and happy and safe travels.
Thanks, girl. Bye.
Bye.